Yeah, so this is where it started. So she says, listen, you can't give the girl every damn award. I'm upset. Okay. And, so when you read these comments, what is she talking about? You are not wrong. I agree. It's all so fake. She say, wait, what? Overly hyping her. How do we grow the game if y'all blindly pick and follow one kid? Paige bald, but nah. So then you go here. We're not going to get into the deeper implications of how we have two amazing black point guards. So I don't like when they play the race card, but this is what she said when we have two amazing black point guards in the championship game, one of whom was in the running and largely uncovered the entire season. I agree with her with this, but I don't agree with her, injecting race into this. I don't agree with that, but I understand what she's saying, right? So, okay, then you get Sydney Colson. She says, LOL, don't get on here upsetting folks. How do we grow the game if people are constantly putting others down when they reach unimaginable heights? That's good. She says, I'm a UConn fan. I love Paige, but I got to agree here. There are too many outstanding players for one to get all of the awards. Paige herself has listed off many of them. Okay, and you also got journalists who are saying the same thing. Welcome to what everyone has been screaming all season. You'll be called a hater, though, so be prepared. And listen, I agree with her because all I'm asking is to include Caitlin. And then you check my comment sections, people are telling me to kill myself. Now, listen, I want to let you people know, because people listen, you can't type in crazy cuss words using profanity on my channel, because YouTube will block your comment. So some of you are probably wondering why your comments are showing. It's because you're calling me all of these disgusting, despicable, derogatory terms, and they're not showing up. So if you're going to call me a bleep head, if you're going to call me a blank hole, the B word, these horrible names you've called me, people, when you look at my channel, you look at the comments, those aren't all the comments. Okay, YouTube aren't letting a lot of these comments through. These people are calling me horrible things. And this is all about Paige Bueckers. Because I want Caitlin included, I'm getting horrible comments. So to me personally, UConn, their fans got to clean it up. You guys got to clean it up. I mean, it's pretty brutal. He says, right, up until the UConn-Tennessee game, all of the analysts were all over Ryan Howard as the best player in basketball and Charlie as the number one pick. Now Paige is the runaway best player and could be a WNBA All-Star right now. I'm confused. Will says, I love how I said she wasn't the best player all year and I got chastised by some for it. But that's what they did to Breanna Stewart, too. It's Aggie. Yeah, they did that to Breanna, but as you're going to see Amani say, Breanna did deserve all of that attention. Let's just be honest. You're 6'4", 6'5", doing all of that. She definitely, most definitely deserved the attention. But I would have to say that it was a little bit too much last year and the year before for Sabrina Ionescu. But they're tying in her relationship with Kobe and Gigi, and it was just so much about Sabrina that it was all of this other talent, and it was overshadowing all of this other talent that was out there. And then you see who won Rookie of the Year, even though Sabrina got hurt. You look and see who won Rookie of the Year. Okay, UConn player Crystal Dangerfield. And she was solid all year, all her senior year, but she got overshadowed by Sabrina. Okay, and to the point where Crystal went undrafted, if I'm not mistaken. So that was a problem. Okay, Renee says she's not even a point guard. Yeah, she is a point guard, Renee. Stop it. Paige can play point. She can play the off guard, shooting guard. She can play small forward. Okay, just stop it. She can play 3 different positions. What else did she win? She got point guard of the year today. You say all I can do is laugh. Look, Paige is a point guard. You come on, her passing ability is amazing. So what this is that this is a little bit of jealousy and envy, but this is also concern. So you're concerned, but yet it's just sort of mixed in with some jealousy and envy in there, and that's just never healthy. That's never healthy at all. So, but at least she admitted that she's upset. She says, I'm upset. Yeah, but the main thing is like she's saying, how do we grow the game? You know, how do we grow the game? How do we grow the game? And so that's sort of what she's what she's getting into. So this is what I have to say about Paige. Like I said before, Paige is going to dominate her junior year. He's going to dominate her junior year. It's going to be nasty. Let's also talk about Chelsea Dungey real quick, because Paige did overshadow Chelsea Dungey, right? And then when they played, everyone was like, Chelsea was a revelation. Okay, well, Chelsea has been a revelation since she's gotten to Arkansas. Okay, but, you know, she was just sort of overshadowed. Chelsea should be a top 5 pick, but she's not going to be a top 5 pick, and it's sad. You know, so that's a problem. But I feel that, the media focused too much on Paige. They really did, because UConn is their number one brand. Paige has the most followers out of all of these women on social media. And ESPN, they wanted to use that. The NCAA wanted to sell that, right? And so they decided to concentrate everything on Paige and just sort of ignore everyone else. And to the point where the women said, well, you can't ignore us anymore. And so Caitlin forced her way into the Sweet 16. Well, hey, you can't ignore me now, because they didn't even include Caitlin in that original package where they they showed all of the women's faces up close and personal with those eyes glowing. In that first package, Caitlin wasn't included, right? So they snubbed her too, just the way they did Ari in Arizona. Right. So listen, you've been seeing this. You've been seeing this. So that was my issue with it. But we're not going to act like Paige isn't amazing. OK, she really is. She really is. Really, really is. She can play 3 different positions. So we're just not going to act like that. And also, I have to bring this up again. Like I stated before, this is also Black people being jealous of a white woman. Okay, now I spoke about this before. Stop hating on Paige because she's white, right? So let me just say this. Imani would not be saying this if Paige were Black. Let's just be honest about it. No one would be hating on Paige winning all of these awards if she were Black. Okay, let's just tell the truth. Let's just tell the truth. Imani would be celebrating her right now. But Paige isn't Black. She's white. She's Caucasian. She's a European American. Okay. And so because of that, Black people are hating on her. Right. And so we're just going to be honest about this thing. I was honest months ago when I made that video. Stop hating on Paige because she's white. Right. This is before the tournament even started. I spoke up about this, and I'm going to say this again. If Paige Bueckers were Black, you wouldn't care. You wouldn't care. You wouldn't care, right? So that's the whole truth about it. That's the whole truth about it. And it's just very upsetting that it's that way. And Black people got to look at themselves, look within themselves and say, oh my gosh, am I racist? Am I prejudiced? Like, what's wrong with me? Why do I feel this way about Paige winning these awards? Because I don't think that I would be feeling this way if she were Black. And so you have to be honest and just admit that. You have to be honest and admit that. Okay. And like I said before, and I'm going to end this, people. Black people get extremely uncomfortable when white people starts to dominate in areas where they feel that Black people should dominate at. Man, listen, it even goes down to dancing. Black people feel that no one on earth should dance better than Black people. And when they see white women dancing better than Black women, they get real uncomfortable about it. And then they start throwing cultural appropriation. when they see white women dressing better than them, their booties looking more bigger than theirs, that's cultural appropriation. She had butt injections. White women weren't even thinking about big booties until black women stepped on the scene. They used to tease women who had big butts. Now all these white women want big booties. We started this, you see? There's this jealousy. Okay? It goes down to fashion, to the way your body looks, to dancing, to music, right? Black people started hip hop. We need to have a gatekeeper. I mean, you literally see this conversation. We need to only allow a certain number of white people into hip hop. White people going to take over hip hop. And you get this one legendary rapper named Scarface who said in 50 years, everyone would think hip hop was started by white people. Black people need to get control of it. It's your art. Right. So this is what's going on. This goes into music. OK, you even see when white women sing really good and they have good runs and they sing really good. They have a lot of soul in their voice. Black people say, listen, she's trying to sound black. He's trying to sound black. Right. Like this is what happens. They get jealous. And then you bring that the people. I've even heard it about church, about certain pastors in the Pentecostal churches. Oh man, that pastor be trying to preach like a black pastor. Like I've heard this about pastors, people, pastors. Okay. And so now you bring that into sport. You talk about sport. I've heard it about Christian McCaffrey. I've heard it about certain white wide receivers. You can bring it back to Wes Welker and Julian Edelman. And, listen, this is what it is, man. You see it in basketball, right? It's all across the board. Track and field, boxing. Man, I've seen stuff when people said Nate Robinson was going to beat, what was his name? Jake Paul, I think, in that little exhibition boxing match because Nate was black. And there's no way Jake can beat a black man. I've seen that. And then next thing you know, Nate gets darn near decapitated. Okay, so like black people, you got to stop this. This is bad. I keep telling you, the creator values all of his creation. He loves all of his creation. He loves variety. That's why he made so many races of people. He loves variety, and each race does something dynamic and unique. And when you bring everyone together, right, and you put all of your talents together, you can do amazing things, incredible things, phenomenal things. So just don't hate on each other. Like, just stop it, man. But this is what happens. This is what happens, man. So anyway, that's the end of the video. You guys take care. All right. So now the conversation switches to WNBA expansion. And there's a lot of conversation about this on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, social media in general, social media overall. It's time. It's time. And I've been preaching this for years. And Kathy Engelbert said like 2 months ago that this is something that they're looking into. Okay, well, that's not going to fly. And I'm going to show you a list of the 52 players who are entering the WNBA draft, pretty much, right? So they're foregoing their junior year or senior year, whatever, and they're hoping that they can get into the WNBA. The problem is there's only 12 teams and 144 players are allowed in the WNBA. They don't have a 13-woman roster. They don't have a 15-woman roster. It's a 12-woman roster. There isn't a D League or a G League, okay? And once again, many of these players will not be able to play overseas because a lot of these leagues overseas, really every last league overseas, they only allow a certain number of Americans to be on a team. I think in China, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's China. They only allow just 3 Americans. Okay, just 3 Americans per team. I think in Russia, it's the same, if I'm not mistaken. So there are a lot of leagues, really all of them, they only allow just a certain number of Americans on their teams. Okay, so a lot of these players won't even be able to play overseas. And then what happens is what you see with Jamie Norrid, who is the assistant coach for Arizona. Remember, she was a 6'2" guard forward for the Tennessee Volunteers, a great player there. She couldn't get drafted. Okay. And I think she got a tryout, or maybe she did get drafted in the third round, whatever. And then listen, most third round picks get cut, so she gets cut. She doesn't get an opportunity. She should have never been cut. She should be playing basketball right now. Her and her sister in the WNBA, they're just that good. But now she's an assistant coach. And the same thing happened with Dominique Dillingham from Mississippi State. Dominique Dillingham is a relentless defender. If you think Baptiste and Arie McDonald are great defenders, then you need to check out Dominique Dillingham's because she's an excellent on-ball defender. She can guard you 94 feet, get steals, everything, very disruptive. But guess what? She couldn't get drafted. So what did she do? She became an assistant coach on Vic Schaefer's staff. Okay, video coordinating and all of that stuff. The same thing happened with Jasmine Holmes. Jasmine Holmes in Mississippi State had the best assist to turnover ratio in college. A relentless defender, can guard you 94 feet, a smooth mid-range shot, can finish with either hand, and she can hit the three. She was one of the best three-point shooters in high school. It's just that Vic Schaefer didn't allow her to shoot threes at Mississippi State. That's not what he wanted. Vic Schaefer's plan, like he told Andy Landers, was get the ball to Tierra McCowan and shoot mid-range shots, dribble drive, and if you miss, try to miss off the front rim so Tierra McCowan can grab it and put it back in. So his thing wasn't really shooting threes. His thing was dribble drive and all of that stuff and feed it to Tierra McCowan. And so that hurt her. And she had a tryout and they aired that on ESPN Plus, and it was a really good tryout. And but she didn't get drafted. So what's going on now? She's an assistant coach for Texas. Okay, and you see this throughout women's college basketball. So many players who just graduated or left, they're now hoping that they can get on the staff at college because they tried to get overseas, but then they found out, oh my gosh, these leagues will only accept a certain number of Americans over here. What am I going to do? And so some of these players have to say, well, I did graduate. I did major in this. Let me see if I could sort of, get a job in this field. And that's extremely difficult. That's not easy at all. Okay. And some of these women took, some easy courses. Some of these women went out for some simple major, if you will. And, I'm not going to lie. Things that I've heard was hip hop. I don't know what it's actually called, but some of these women are studying hip hop. Some of these women are studying African American studies, and then also sports management and things like that. And so that's not going to fly right now, okay? And then some of these women are into business management, but that's going to take some time. You got to go back to school for that, okay? So they're just sort of left out here. Right? They're just sort of left out here. There's this one woman who works at Family Dollar, okay, who was a really good college basketball player. I think it was in the ASUN League. Yeah, the ASUN League. And listen, she's working at Family Dollar. She's a manager at Family Dollar. Okay, so that's pretty sad, right? I mean, it's cool for right now, but it's actually pretty sad because her dream was to play in the WNBA, but that couldn't happen. Look at Sierra Dillard from Buffalo, played in the MAC. Sierra Dillard is excellent, dominated, during her training camp with Minnesota. But listen, Coach Reeves didn't want to keep her because she was bringing in Lindsay Whalen's student from Minnesota because she said in that conference that she wants the Lynx in Minnesota. I think, what are they called? The Gophers, whatever. She wanted the Minnesota Lynx to be a pipeline because that also helps Lindsay Whalen with recruiting. And so she decided to take one of Lindsay Whalen's young women instead of keeping Sierra. Didn't allow Sierra to even play in preseason, even though Lexi Brown said that Sierra had an excellent training camp. Excellent training camp. And so then Sierra gets picked up. She cuts her. Sierra gets picked up by the Sparks. And this is right before their first preseason game. They gave her like 54 seconds. They gave her 54 seconds in the game. Okay, and so this is what you see. This is what you see, and it's so sad. You think of Macy Morris and Sam Fearing and a lot of these other women who they just don't get the opportunity. It's just not there for them because there's only 12 teams, 144 players, and there's only 40 minutes to play. Okay, and so Kathy Engelbert has got to wake up right now. You can't say this is something you're considering. No, you have to do this as soon as possible. Okay, I would honestly say next year you should have 2 teams in this league next year. We can't keep celebrating Mark Davis purchasing the Las Vegas Aces and Renee Montgomery being one of the partners purchasing the Atlanta Dream from Kelly Loeffler. That's not good enough. You want to know why? Because that's just only that keeps you with just 12 teams. That's great for Renee. She's making history. Okay, that's not so. Listen, I guess it's great personally for Mark Davis, but what does that do in terms of growth? In terms of expansion, it does nothing. So the league is once again stagnant. They're once again in neutral. Okay, and that doesn't help the women's game. You need more teams. And so, Kathy, the WNBA, they need to get on it right now. And they need to add 2 teams next year. In the meantime, they need to expand the rosters to 15 women per roster. It has to be 15 women. And you can't say, well, we don't bring in enough revenue to be able to pay these other women. Listen, I'm sorry, but you got to figure it out. You got to figure it out. You got to get these women a chance. You don't have a G League or a D League, a minor league. Okay. And so those 3 women per team will be developmental players. And like I said, you don't have to dip into free agency, just, in case of an injury. You can just go to these 3 players that you've been developing. They're your reserve players. But it gives them an opportunity to develop, to learn the game. And listen, it gives you an opportunity to spend less money because you don't have to dip into free agency. You got your 3 reserves, and it gives these women an opportunity to get into the league. But like I said before, you must increase the minutes per game to 48 minutes per game, right? Because what that does, that stops congestion, if you will, in terms of stress, okay, frustration, right? Which makes players become disgruntled because you have starters on your bench only getting 6 minutes. I mean that. These women on the bench would be starters if there were 16, 20 teams. They would be absolute starters, but they're getting 6 minutes. And now you're talking about 52 players wanting to play in the WNBA. That's not even counting the women from overseas. Okay, well, that's the problem. And so you're going to get some of these some of these young women who get into the WNBA and they're going to get 4 minutes, 6 minutes. Some of them won't get any minutes. Some of them might get 8 minutes. That's not good enough. These women should be starters. And so what's going to happen is that players are going to become disgruntled. They're going to speak out about this. They're going to become frustrated. And then this opens the door for another league. And maybe that's what the WNBA is hoping for. Maybe they're hoping that some multi-millionaire or billionaire would say, hey, let's start a women's league. We see the ratings, the numbers are up, from the WNBA and women's collegiate basketball. This is a great opportunity when you look at the female demographic versus the male. Women outnumber men in this country. Females outnumber males in this country and around the world. More women are involved in sports than ever before. More women are watching sports more than ever before. You see the numbers. Why don't we invest in a league? Okay. And maybe Kathy is hoping that then the leagues could merge. There can be this merger the way it happened with the NBA and the ABA, the NFL, the NFL and the AFC. I think that's what it was, the American Football League or whatever it was called. And the NFL, they merged together. Okay. And the same thing happened with the NBA and the ABA. And then there was this merger. And so maybe Kathy is hoping for that, because what that does is that means that the WNBA, they don't have to really worry about trying to find buyers like groups or men or women who would want to purchase a team. They don't necessarily have to do the expansion all on their own. They can have this other league to develop, and in 5 years, there can be this merger. Now the WNBA has 24 teams. Okay, so maybe that's what she's hoping for, but that's just an idea from me. Okay, that may not happen. So what you have to do is that you have to be proactive, and you got to get out there, and you've got to start like bringing in more teams. You need to expand. You need to find some people who are willing to invest in the WNBA, some people who are willing to buy a team, start a franchise. Okay. And when you look at the numbers, it costs over $10 million to purchase a WNBA team. Over $10 million. And so there are many women and men in America, and who have that kind of money and who can do that. You listen, you go through the vetting process and you just figure it out. But honestly, you need 2 teams next year. Okay. So what I want to do is that I want to show you the list of the players. And then, like I said, we're going to talk about what Amani spoke about, Paige Bueckers. And there's this conversation around Paige Bueckers, how she's winning too many trophies. Now, and then you're going to hear how people are going to say, yeah, but if you say that, they'll call you a hater. And I'm very familiar with that. Now, I never said that Paige Bueckers shouldn't win any trophies. I didn't care if she won all of them. Didn't matter to me. I just wanted Caitlyn included. So if you watch my videos talking about Caitlyn and Paige, it's always saying Caitlyn should be included. Caitlyn should be on that list. Caitlyn should be a candidate. I never cared who won. I just wanted Caitlyn included. Okay, that's all I cared about. So I don't care how many trophies Paige wins. She's an amazing player, and she's going to be just destroying people her junior year. She's going to just destroy them next year, but you just wait to her junior year. It's going to be something unimaginable, right? It's going to be something that's just going to blow you away. So I don't mind her winning every award. Doesn't matter to me. Just include Caitlyn, okay? And maybe also some of these other women who deserve it, who weren't listed. So here are some of the 52 players, right? So you see these names. I can blow them up for you. Janelle, Kate, Maya, Sierra, Dejanay Carrington, Deja, Charlie, Gabby, Renaya, Chelsea, Dana. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Aaliyah. Arella, Valerie, Cece, Jordan, Kiana, Akanira, whatever, Sierra, India, Michaela, Natalie, Kasiana, Selena, Natasha, Tiana, and oh my gosh, her story is amazing, surviving cancer. I follow her on YouTube as well. She does some really fun vlogs, very warm vlogs. I love her vlogs. She's a good 3-point shooter. She can pass that basketball, really good court vision, got a lot of heart. Blanca, LaShonda, so you see all of these players, right? And this is just a few. This is just a few. So people, they got to expand, and Kathy can't say they're considering it. That's not good enough. All right, this is going to make or break Kathy Engelbert as the WNBA's first ever commissioner. This is sort of an assignment that if you fail this assignment, this could tarnish your legacy, right? It's sort of like what's going on with Kamala Harris. Joe Biden gave her a very serious assignment, and that's to manage the border, immigration, figure it out, make it work, make everyone happy on both sides. Okay, and so she has to figure this thing out. It's been 11 days. She hasn't done a press conference. People think she's ducking and hiding. I don't believe that. I think she's just trying to get it all together. Listen, if Kamala doesn't do a great job at that, then listen, the next time it's time for Joe Biden's reelection, he may say, I can't choose her as my VP, or if Kamala wants to run for president, well, look how she mismanaged immigration, the whole border crisis. She ruined it. Okay, so these things can tarnish your legacy. This is make or break, I feel, for Kathy Engelbert. All this is going to happen every year. You got to understand the women's game is more talented than it's ever been before. And that's starting with girls basketball all the way up. And so there will never be a shortage of talent, right? The WNBA has a wealth of talent problem. They're too wealthy with exceptional talent. They're just too wealthy. And then you're looking at the Dallas Wings. They got the first, the second, the fifth, and the seventh pick. The Dallas Wings, they have 4 picks in the first round. There's only 12 teams. Okay. They already got Bella Olari and Alicia Gray and Ty Harris and Arike Gumbawale. Okay. And, so they're just absolutely loaded over there. Okay, Mabry, they got all of this talent over there, and they have 4 picks in the first round. Okay, so that's crazy. That's insane. That's insane. Some great players are going to get cut. Oh my gosh, people, this is a problem, and this is good. This will be the case every single year. Okay, the talent will never drop off. The talent coming from college, it will never, ever drop off. Okay, these women are doing what men are doing, even at the girls' level. Okay, so it's only going to get better when they get to college, right? So the talent will never drop off. You talk about jelly layups and step backs and everything you name. Okay, all kind of hezzy dribbles, defense, and the speed and the health of these players, their conditioning, nutrition, analytics, how they understand the game, how they watch film. Just these women are leaders. They're amazing. Okay. Now, look, I just saw that piece about the McDonald's All-Star, and they were highlighting this one young girl. She's 18 right now. She's going to Arkansas. She's 6'5", but plays like she's 5'4". Well, she grew. It said her mom told her, before you go to bed, pray that she'll be 6'4". Say that I'll be 6'4". This is when she was 5'4". And she prayed that every night. And then she grew to be 6'4", 6'5". But she was a point guard all of her life, entering high school. And now she's 6'4" with all of these guard skills. And so they're showing her training, and her trainer is saying, okay, remember, you're 5'4". You're 5'4". And so she's crossing over these amazing handles. She's doing this at 6'5", but with ball handling skills as if she was this amazing 5'4" guard. So people, and she's going to be playing for Arkansas next season. 6'5" with amazing guard skills, shooting threes and step backs and everything. Like, people, listen, there will never be a drop off in talent, not in America and not overseas, people. And so you have a wealth of talent problem. And the only way you can fix that is that you have to add more teams. You have to add more teams. And Kathy, obviously, she didn't think about this when she first got here. Okay, she was thinking about, let's sell this brand of the WNBA, that this is the most competitive league and we have the best talent in the world. And let's just focus on these 12 teams, because these games that we watch from the WNBA, they're so competitive. They're so much fun to watch. They're nail biters. Let's just focus on selling this, that this is a fun league where these games are fun to watch. They're nail biters. No, you have to expand. You have to expand. You must expand. And so this is going to make or break Kathy. This is going to make or break her. This could hurt her legacy. So I'm proposing that, you add 2 teams next season. And this season, you need to move it to 48 minutes per game. Okay, that's just beyond facts. You need to move it to 48 minutes per game. Okay, and you need to have a 15-woman roster. End of discussion, right? And you need to start adding more games, okay, until you expand. This just gives more opportunity. And it opens the door for you to also have to bring in some networks. So maybe NBC or Fox Sports 1 or Fox Sports, which will allow these players to be able to make more money because the league is making more money.